Well, we're back on pitch side with this fantastic win from Islamabad United. They've pretty much started off from where they left last year, defending champions, winning their first encounter in the HBL PSL 10. Just a quick look at what happened in this game. They managed to restrict Lahore Qalandars to 139, and Jason Holder was the star of amongst all the bowlers, taking those 4 wickets, getting almost a hat-trick in this game. So they managed to restrict Lahore Qalandars on 139 in response from Islamabad United's perspective. Colin Munro once again getting the runs for them, and they made it look rather easy chasing. 143 for 2 was their total, winning by 8 wickets in hand in the end. Like I said, fabulous start for Islamabad United. They are a team that has done historically well in the HBL PSL. In particular, last year we saw what they did, and this year they've started off things well once again. I've got with me in the studio a very, very special guest. Mike Hesson joins us, the coach of Islamabad United, alongside Bazat Khan. Welcome, gentlemen. Hess, great start for you guys. Once again, this is exactly what you would have wanted. You know, there's always that pressure when you are the defending champions that you're coming, you're starting off the first game, a few nerves here and there, but then you go on to win. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, delighted with the performance. It was pretty clinical, to be fair. I mean, with the ball, it certainly wasn't your traditional Rawalpindi wicket, so I thought we adjusted to conditions really well. It was quite hard to start with the bat, so even chasing a below par score, it wasn't one of those wickets you could go out and attack too early. So, yeah, it was a clinical performance, and I guess for a new group, it's nice to get a bit of confidence early.
Jason Holder was the pick of the bowlers for you, and obviously he was on a hat-trick. I mean, he definitely got it right in terms of his execution in these conditions. You spoke about how these conditions were slightly different from the normal Rawalpindi conditions. What do you think was different?
It was slow, and when you hit the wicket hard, it sometimes was a bit of variable bounce in terms of up and down. So, you know, spinners were tough if they bowl wicket to wicket. If you got width, you know, the way Shafiq played, he threw his hands at it and he played really nicely. So it was a pretty good lesson for us to make sure we bowled wicket to wicket. And I thought spinners controlled the length quite nicely. You know, once Shadab changed ends, he started to bowl a better length. So, yeah, like I said, I think we adapted pretty well.
Before the PSL started, we had an interview where you were saying that you want United to be better. What sort of specifically you want them to be better at? Which phase of play, or which element that you want better?
Well, definitely in the field. I thought last year we were pretty untidy in the field, so I think we've got a better fielding unit this year. We've worked pretty hard on it. Even, you know, after the draft, we sent some pretty high targets in terms of what we wanted to do. And with the new ball, we needed to be better. And also from a death bowling perspective, we really weren't challenged today in that phase, but that will be something that on good wickets, you know, we'll continue to be challenged.
And you talk about death bowling. Now, what's the trade-off? Islamabad United are always regarded as a side which will bat you out of the game, get more runs than you do, than the opposition does. But does that then compromise the bowling? Does that make sure that you have a long batting unit but not enough specialist bowlers as such?
Well, I think we've got 8 specialist bowlers now, so I think we haven't really compromised in that. You know, we haven't really got bits and pieces bowlers. You know, Shazad didn't bowl at all today. He's more than competent in terms of his change of pace. Obviously, we've got 3 spinners. When Matt Short comes in, we've got 2 off spinners as well. So we've got a nice balance for different conditions, and I don't think we've compromised too much on that.
And even in terms of, you know, the selection that they make, Islamabad United, when they're making their squad badge, Sahibzada Farhan came in, and he's somebody who's done really well in the domestic recently. So it just seems like whenever they're making their team, you know, that's where they really win. We've seen that in the previous seasons as well. There are always teams that are lacking an element, but Islamabad United seems to be a team that really thinks through their selection.
Yeah, you look at the draft and they picked Meredith, who's a 150 click bowler, and then you have Jason Holder who can contribute with the ball, and as he mentioned, Shazad, he's also good with the ball, so they've actually focused a bit more on fast bowling. But the standout thing from Islamabad United, which I always feel every season I feel this, is that the players that to come back to the franchise, or their co-players almost stay the same, but when they come back to the franchise, they're so comfortable. Now, Shadab Khan in Islamabad United is a different player to Shadab Khan in any other team. And similarly, most players who keep playing for Islamabad United are so comfortable in the unit. So management side of the things, they've got something right. I don't know what it is, but they've actually got something right, because that's the sort of feel you get from the franchise.
What have you got right then? Because, you know, Baz is talking about it, and it's a good point about Shadab, because he seems like, you know, he really sort of enjoys that challenge of leadership whenever we see him with Islamabad United, whether it's with the bat, you know, loves coming up. And so all those elements that we're talking about, I mean, what is it about the management here?
Well, I think Shadab does play a part in terms of his relaxed style of leadership, and he's very inclusive, so even the young boys, you know, feel like they're part of it. Everyone wants to come back and play for Islamabad United, which is a nice situation to be in. I think Ali Naqvi, our owner, it starts there. You know, if you've got an owner who gives you real stability, allows the cricket people to focus on the cricket, you know, doesn't get too involved in different things, I think is pretty important. And, you know, Rehan Al-Haq has been here for a long time. He's got some real stability and knows a lot of the players around the circuit. But I think the senior leadership group, you know, is important. You know, they encourage players to almost want to come and play at Islamabad United. So when they do, they feel happy and they feel like they're going to be supported. So, yeah, it's a nice environment to be part of.
You know, maybe it's just the city which is so dull and relaxing and boring that everything follows through.
Well, we love the vibe. We love the vibe of Islamabad. Baz, I guess it's premature to talk about it, but I mean, is there any area where you feel Islamabad could perhaps work on, and, you know, just in terms of going forward, because it's just been one game, there's a long way to go in the tournament? Yeah,
just the one game, so you don't look into it too much. It went completely Islamabad United's way, but there's a little team in HBL PSLs, the side that wins most home games. So if Islamabad United do well at home, they generally go on to maybe play the final or win the tournament. Similarly with Lahore Qalandars, when you win your home game, so if you win at Qaddafi Stadium, you go on to actually get to the final or even win the tournament. So home games are so important to actually use that, and today was testament to their adaptability a little bit. I just feel that still they'll be tested, and I reckon they'll be tested more with their bowling rather than their batting. I think their batting on good surfaces have enough firepower to get you to 100, to get a high ceiling.
Yeah, that's always been, you know, their go-to. If you look historically as well, Islamabad United has had great batters throughout. Thank you so much for your time, Hes. I'm not going to keep you here. I'm sure you want to go and celebrate and talk about the next game looking forward. Baz, you're still going to be here on pitch side. We still need your expertise on what happened in the game. So we're going to take a short breather. When we do come back, we'll be joined by JP Duminy. Back on pitch side, and it's been a fantastic win by Islamabad United. We were talking about their strengths and what they need to improve, but Lahore Qalandars perhaps short of runs, whether they were short of runs or how they're going to be reflecting on this game. Let's find out from JP Duminy, who joins us. JP, great to have you here. Firstly, welcome back to HBL PSL.
Thank you.
This is your second HBL PSL with us, so welcome back. Great game again for Islamabad United. We spoke about that, but Qalandars missing the trick once again. Do you think perhaps they were short of runs, unable to execute their plans? I mean, what do you pin it down to really?
Yeah, I think the obvious thing certainly is the shortage of runs, but I think you made the point of the execution. I think what Islamabad United certainly did very well is the adapting to the conditions. We heard Mike Hesson speak about the fact that that was probably a strength in this game, and it's something that they pride themselves on. Yeah, and Lahore will certainly look back at this and think, okay, what are the areas that they fell short? Even though they batted first, yes, we saw that it wasn't a wicket necessarily that we are used to here at Rawalpindi. So it was about adapting to conditions, and, you know, 160, 170 was probably a competitive total here tonight. And unfortunately, falling 20, 30 runs short, you're going to have to execute from a bowling perspective. And unfortunately, they didn't do that. We saw the spin coming into play as well, which is not necessarily a natural progression here at Rawalpindi. But all in all, look, it is the first game, so certainly no panic moments for Lahore. They have won this tournament twice previously, but it's kind of like they've sort of flashed hot and cold from time to time. And I think they want to find a balance, particularly with the new coaching staff, new flush of players that have come in. They're going to rely heavily on that middle order from a batting point of view. They've got a star-studded bowling lineup as well. So execution is going to be critical to find some momentum that hopefully leads to confidence for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, in terms of execution, nothing went wrong with that opening ceremony that happened earlier on today. It was a great lead up to the first game that we had, Islamabad United taking on Lahore Qalandars. But it was a rather glittering opening ceremony. It's time to revisit it with some of the refreshing moments of the day. Well, we had a stunning crowd with the flying man basically really lighting up today's opening ceremony. He brought the coin as well at the coin toss, as well as the HBL PSL trophy. Some electrifying performances by Abda Parveen, the legend herself, and the national, we've seen on this platform the anthem that was sung by young stunners Abrarul Haq. Everybody was really bringing in their A game today with all that energy that we got to see. It was certainly perhaps one of the best that we've seen in the HBL PSL. I certainly enjoyed it. You know, you talk about Pakistan, Baz, and cultural diversity is something that we really enjoy. We got to see a bit of that with that performance from Ali Zafar. And overall as well, that national, the anthem, the PSL anthem depicts that. It had a bit of everything.
Yeah, HBL PSL always brings Pakistan together. It's a festive occasion, and that's what it's all about, putting on a show, and it was certainly a show, and it started the season 10, which is bigger and better, in fabulous style. And everybody throughout that sort of, you look at the personalities that performed, and you're absolutely right, there was such diversity in every performance.
Well, talking about performance, Qalandars will be looking back and thinking that, you know, perhaps like you said, they were short of runs, but just in terms of how they got out, the dismissals, I mean, perhaps was it a case of a poor execution from them?
Well, I think you have to give credit to Islamabad, and I say that particularly because the fact that they read the conditions well very soon. You think about the opening two bowlers and how they hit the deck pretty hard. They recognize the fact that back of a length is, particularly on the stumps, is where it's going to be most difficult, and they were pretty consistent, particularly in that power play. And with that, when you gave them a bit of width, you know, the opposition got runs and Lahore got underway. So for them, it's really about trying to understand, okay, where was the lack of execution? Where was the lack of intent? Is there something that we need to re-look at from a strategic point of view? How do we read conditions better? Do we have opportunities to communicate better within our team? You know, these are questions that they'll certainly go back and ask themselves, particularly when you have a cluster of new players coming in. How do you communicate as best as possible? How do you get the local players and internationals to sync in terms of that communication? Who takes the reins in terms of the leadership outside of just the captain? And those communication skills are important, I think, in a tournament such as this, to find momentum, to find confidence, and you know, hopefully you get on a run in a tournament such as this that builds the confidence.
Well, plenty to think about then for Lahore Qalandars. For now, let's have a look at their fall of wickets.
Yeah, it all started off with Fakhar Zaman, that back of a length, quick delivery, just short of a length. And a bit of seam movement, but the lengths all throughout were perfect. That was beautifully bowled by Imad. Wasim with slowing it up. And Shadab with a different delivery, with a slightly round arm delivery. But again, just back of a length. They assessed the conditions, as Duminy said, very quickly, the where to bowl on this particular surface. And that has meant that they were able to pick up wickets. In between that, perfect Yorker, but most of all, impressively, they stayed and lived just short of a length, which made it so difficult for the Lahore Qalandars batters, and it ended up in a super bowling performance.
Well, Well, really, the moment today, when you look at the game and how it turned around, was that spell by Jason Holder. What an addition he's been for Islamabad United. Let's have a look at the turning point of the day then. It's those 2 wickets by Jason Holder.
Yeah, it was certainly a moment in the game that really stood out for Jason Holder on his debut in the HBL PSL Season 10. And as you can see, the antics, loves every bit of it.
We heard from him as well that, he spoke about how he read the conditions really well. There were changes of pace, Baz, from Jason Holder. And he spoke about how he understood, as you call it, the assignment really well. So that's what we saw from him. What did you like about his bowling today?
Yeah, absolutely. Very quickly they assessed where to bowl, and he lived on back of a length, and the change-up was the Yorker. He never really gave you drive balls, and that was because of the pitch, and it made it difficult with the batters not being able to get onto the front foot, not being able to hit through the line. And he used his height and also his length extremely well, and that's why he made that huge difference.
All right, talking about making a difference, there was some difference in the field as well. Some moments of brilliance by Colin Munro. Let's have a look at the safe hands for today.
Well, we heard Mike Hesson spoke a little bit about how the fielding was going to be an important part of their success story. And we see some beautiful performances in the field from Islamabad United. None further than the veteran of Colin Munro.
All right, there you heard it from JP Duminy talking about how important it is to be, in terms of the fielding standards, Baz. I mean, we've seen that last year as well. That's been one of the things where you talk about the HBL PSL, that the fielding has to improve, the standards have to improve. That's one thing that we're looking at in this season, because you're comparing yourself to the rest of the world and where they've moved, and from, at least from a local player's experience, you'd be hoping that they learn from players like Colin Munro.
Yeah, one of the controllables that you have in cricket is fielding. The more you work on it, the better you get. And today we had a few catches, Colin Munro, yes, and then Sikandar Raza, which was a terrific catch too. So the less unforced errors a team commits in the field, the better it becomes. And that's why Hesson pointed that out. In T20 cricket, you've got to take everything and make sure you get a little bit of advantage in the field. If you can field well, if save runs, take your chances. Especially taking chances is the big thing. I think in T20 cricket, once you get the opportunity to take a wicket, you have to make sure that you accept that if you keep on dropping catches, then you'll be made to pay. But yeah, it makes such a huge difference once you field well.
Absolutely, that's one thing that we're all looking forward to as well. We'll take a short break now on pitch side, and we'll be back with some more, so don't go anywhere. Well, we got to see some glorious hits today from Islamabad United. Talking about these glorious hits, Colin Munro features in our best boundaries of the day.
And Zainab, what you get from somebody like a Colin Munro is the experience, and what he does is he uses pace very well. He opens up angles. He's a fantastic player, and that's why franchises around the world are looking to sign this experienced player.
Colin Munro has been, Rambo, somebody who's done really well for Islamabad United over the years. He's always managed to score runs for them, and he gives them that star at the top.
That's right. I mean, Corky just mentioned the method, the technique, the professionalism. He's got it all, and he's got this will to fight and to survive. He's been in the circuit for such a long period, and yet his hunger to play these leagues and play for United still remains intact, which is great.
Well, talking about hunger, the hunger of Jason Holder is still very much there, because he was definitely the star today for Islamabad United. He's our man of the match for today.
first game in PSL, and this is what you get from Jason Holder. Tall bowler, gets a little bit of swing, but then bowls it back of a length. I think that's what makes him dangerous. He takes wickets, he's going to lead from the front, he's an experienced player, and hence why he was man of the match.
Well, we saw the performance of Jason Holder, but there's also one guy who really stood out today and got some much-needed runs. I'm talking about Abdullah Shafiq. He's been somebody who has rather struggled in the recent past, but it was good to see him get some runs today. He also hit some smashing sixes. It's time to have a look at the Super Sixes.
Yeah, really smooth innings from him. And he's a smart batsman because he hit the ball straight, used the feet, used the angles so well, and it appeared as he was playing on a different surface altogether. Great innings.
All right, lots been spoken about Islamabad United and how they've done well. They've started off well, Ramiz. Takeaways for Lahore Qalandars then, because it's a loss. It's the first game. Obviously, a long way to go in this tournament, but key takeaways for them.
I think it was a patchy performance all around. I think the batting needs to improve. So, the openers need to score. They depend a great deal on Fakhr, and when he's out of shape, the entire batting lineup seems to struggle. So he gives them that little push which is needed. And bowling also, they needed to crack it big. They didn't swing the ball that much, which was a little surprising. We didn't see a kind of variation in pace also. There's not a lot of drama created by the bowlers also. I mean, they were guarding a very, very small total on a perfect batting surface. So, I mean, it needs to work for them actually, because once they get off the track, then it becomes very difficult for Qalandars to get back on the saddle. So, I mean, this is a heavy loss, heavy defeat, but they need to somehow crack it big. I don't know how.
For me, I would say Fakhr Zaman has to look to bat all the way through. And what he's always looking to do is typical Fakhr. He wants to be aggressive at the start. But I think for somebody like him, say look at Chris Gale, the way that he would play. He'd have a look, and then he's a quality of picking up that strike rate. That's what I think he needs to do to shore that innings up. And for him to be there at 15 overs, if they need to take a risk, fair enough. Send up David Visa, even though he's out first ball today. But I think he needs to be there, and they've got to try and find a way to swing the ball.
Well, he's just come back after an injury, Fakhr Zaman. He's had his share of struggles with his fitness. So one can only hope that he gets back his rhythm, his batting rhythm at some point. Take a short break and we'll be back shortly on pitch side. All right, just a quick reminder of how things went today for Islamabad United. They were on the winning side today. They were the winning side. Lahore Qalandars making 139, perhaps just not enough runs in the end. Abdullah Shafiq getting runs, which is a good sign for Lahore Qalandars. And in response, Islamabad United cruising to 143 for 2, winning by 8 wickets. Well, we've got a double-header lined up for you in this HBL PSL 10. First up, it's Peshawar Zalmi, and they are up against Quetta Gladiators live at 3:20 p.m. from Rawalpindi. And then the next match we've got for you lined up is going to be Multan Sultans will be seen in action, and they will be up against the home side, Karachi Kings, who will be playing in Karachi at 7:50 p.m. All right, we're talking about Peshawar Zalmi coming tomorrow and playing their game. Saim Ayub, he has been one of their key players in the past. He's obviously struggled with his share of injuries. We haven't really seen him in action, and it's been a huge loss because of the fact that he was really starting to get some runs and get going when he got injured. Time to hear his thoughts and find out what he has to say about this HBL PSL.
एक ब्रांड बन चुका है, दुनिया में जाना जाता है पाकिस्तान सुपर लीग, एंड पाकिस्तान के लिए बहुत एक बड़ा ब्रांड है जो लोगों को पाकिस्तान की तरफ अट्रैक्ट करता है। और एज प्लेयर्स हम लोग भी बहुत एक्साइटेड होते हैं जब PSL का टाइम करीब आता है कि अपनी लीग है इसको एंजॉय करेंगे। इंजरी ऑब्वियसली मैं UK गया था तो वहाँ पे रिहैब शुरू किया था मैंने, एंड उसके कुछ फेजेस थे। शुरू में लाइक जो रेस्ट था ऑलमोस्ट जिस तरह बूट में मैं था, उसके बाद कुछ टाइम बाद स्ट्रेंथनिंग शुरू हुई एंड देन स्ट्रेंथनिंग जारी रही ऑलमोस्ट 10 to 11 वीक्स तक। तो बट एक नई चीज़ थी मेरे लिए और नया फेस था, बहुत सारी लर्निंग्स थी। पाँव में फ्रैक्चर हुआ, हो सकता है कभी मैं दोबारा क्रिकेट ही नहीं खेल पाता, बट इतना हुआ जितना मैं सह सकता था, उसको ठीक किया। क्रिकेट खेलूँगा अब अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह दोबारा से। तो उसको हम खुद ही क्रिएट करते हैं सेल्फ डाउट को, एंड मैंने ये सोचा कि मैं जितना उसको पॉजिटिव ले सकूं, उसको एंजॉय कर सकूं, करूं। कॉज मेरे हाथ में, हमारे हाथ में कुछ भी नहीं है। हम सिर्फ कोशिश कर सकते हैं हर चीज़ के लिए, एंड कोशिश करने के मज़े ले सकते हैं, उसको इवॉल्व कर सकते हैं। उसके बाद रिज़ल्ट सोचना तो हमारे बस की बात होनी नहीं चाहिए। फेवरेट मेमोरी तो आई डोंट थिंक कोई ऐसी है, बिकॉज पूरा टूर्नामेंट मेरे लिए बहुत एंजॉयबल था। लेकिन हाँ, वर्स्ट मेमोरी कह सकते हैं कि जो हम लोग क्वालिफायर हारे थे उसका बड़ा अफसोस हुआ था, बिकॉज वी रियली वांटेड टू विन दैट मैच। बट जहाँ तक फेवरेट की बात है तो जो हमारी टीम का कल्चर है एंड जिस तरह से हम लोग क्रिकेट खेलते हैं, एंजॉय करते हैं, तो आई थिंक मेरे लिए मैं 2 टूर्नामेंट खेला हूँ ज़ल्मी से, एंड दोनों में मैं ये नहीं बता सकता कि कौन सा फेवरेट मोमेंट था, बिकॉज आई एंजॉय द होल टूर्नामेंट विद ज़ल्मी। जो बाबर भाई के साथ तो मज़ा आता ही है, बट वो बाबर भाई हो, वो हारिस हो, वो TKC हो, वो कोई भी टीममेट हो, सो मेरे लिए उन किसी में भी डिफरेंशिएट नहीं है। हाँ, बिल्कुल मज़ा आता है। वो एक है, बाबर भाई का नाम है, वो प्लेयर हैं, बट किसी में भी डिफरेंशिएट नहीं है, सब मेरे लिए एक जैसे हैं। तो मुझे उतना ही मज़ा आता है सबके साथ बैटिंग करने। अबाउट बॉलिंग, या दैट वाज आई थिंक इंस्टेंट प्लानिंग थी मैच से पहले, कि मुझे बताया गया कि तुमको कल जो है वो नया बॉल करना है, और मैं बिल्कुल प्रिपेयर, मतलब एज एन मेंटली प्रिपेयर नहीं था, बट प्रैक्टिस मैं करता था हमेशा। बॉलिंग का मुझे शौक़ था, और जब उन्होंने बताया तो मैंने बोला एज अ चैलेंज। पहले मैंने उनसे बोला मुझसे कोई एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं रखिएगा, बिकॉज इट्स लाइक नथिंग टू लूज़ फॉर मी। तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ, तुम 1 ओवर में 36 रन भी दे दो तो कोई इशू नहीं है उसमें तो मैंने बोला हाँ, कोई एक्सपेक्टेशन वैसे भी नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो बस जस्ट आई एन्जॉयड इट, कि मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अब मुझे जो मिली है उसको एज अ चैलेंज एंजॉय करके मैं निभाऊँगा। बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स हैं सीनियर्स जिनसे मेरी कोशिश होती है कि मैं सबसे कुछ ना कुछ सीखता रहूं, इवन वो जूनियर भी हो ना, क्योंकि जब सही गलत और इवॉल्विंग की बात आती है तो फिर कोई छोटा बड़ा तो नहीं है, कोई भी अच्छी बात कर सकता है जो हम सीख सकते हैं। तो सीनियर्स ने हाँ बिल्कुल की है, एंड कुछ चीज़ें जूनियर्स से भी सीखी मैंने, मेरे साथ वालों से भी सीखी। तो मैं ट्राई करता हूँ कि कुछ ना कुछ सबसे सीखता रहूँ, और बिल्कुल मिलता है, बहुत कुछ अच्छा मिलता है सीखने को। कम बैक आई थिंक इज़ नॉट द राइट वर्ड, बट मैं हाँ गेम खेलने के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ, कि मुझे जो गेम खेलने की फीलिंग है, वो जो इन्वायरमेंट है, वो जो मैच खेलने का मज़ा है, हाँ जी, वो बहुत ज़्यादा उसके लिए एक्साइटेड हूँ।
What an exciting talent Saim Ayub is. I mean, just at the time when really things were going for him, Ramiz, he was getting those runs in across all formats. Everybody was talking about what an exciting talent he is. He got injured, but how do you see him in the future, considering the kind of potential that he's shown?
Well, excuse me, he's a 3-format player, number one, because he's technically organized. He can hit the ball straight. He's got so many options when it comes to playing off the legs. Actually, he introduced to us the no-look shot, remember?
Yeah.
And so he's breath of fresh air, because Pakistan needed a go-getter at the top of the order, and he provides them with that great facility.
Well, you can see him in action tomorrow because Peshawar Zalmi is playing their game tomorrow very much here in Islamabad. That's the first game that we have for you. It's the day game. Remember, it's a double header in the HBL PSL 10 and it's going to be live at 3:20. They are taking on Quetta Gladiators. There'll be another game today, later on today, which is going to be Karachi Kings, the home side, and they will be taking on Multan Sultan. So plenty of prospects lined up for you, lots at stake for all these sides, all looking to win. Those eyes are going to be on that HBL PSL trophy. We've got more games coming up this week though. This week is full of the HBL PSL 10 action. All the sides will get a chance to show what they've got. Lots of matches lined up for you. We are in Pindi, but we will be showing you games from Karachi as well. Tomorrow it's going to be, well, later on today it's going to be Karachi, then Pindi again, Quetta versus Lahore in Pindi, Islamabad versus Peshawar. So pretty much all the action has been lined up for you. It's been back-to-back, and I know that Dominic Cork is really looking forward to these late nights.
Can't wait. And there's one thing that you didn't show on that graphic is we go to Multan. And I'm looking forward to Multan because of hitting up a few golf balls at Romanza. But I love the crowd there. The crowd here was excellent. I think, you know, when we first got here, we thought, is it going to be full? It was packed. And that is on the back of obviously a disappointing international performances from Pakistan. So that's a good sign. And let's hope they turn up today again or a little bit later on today. And then tomorrow night in Karachi. Keep coming because this is going to be a great tournament.
All right then. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your thoughts. Thank you so much, Ramiz. Thank you so much, Corky. Always a pleasure to have them on Bitside. And that's pretty much all that we have for you from here today. It's been a fantastic game. Great opening ceremony, followed by a win for all the United fans. So that's all that we have for you from here. We'll see you guys, well, not tomorrow, later on today. So keep watching HBL PSL 10.